1.1 FM, AM 1160. He is State Police Public Information Officer Trooper Clifford Greenfield, joins us this morning in the wake of an eventful weekend, to say the least. Our conversation is brought to you by Marcus & Mack, voted best personal injury law firm in the Best of Indiana County contest. Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Well, there were some injuries over the weekend. We'll talk briefly about the events of IUPattys, but he's in the midst of compiling all of that data for us, and we'll get that information out. Our main reason for our visit this morning, though, is to talk about something else that is going on, and that is construction season begins, and we have work zone safety in mind and driver safety overall for these coming summer months. So we want to get into that, but quickly let's review a couple of things. Investigations going on, a shooting at IUP, or not at IUP, off campus, a shooting during IUPattys. The car chase that ended at the Regency Plaza, that suspect still at large.
Correct. The driver is, yes.
The driver. We had the floor collapse of the building up behind the Regency Mall. Right. All of those things are being investigated, and just a really, really busy weekend, including somebody got involved with one of the state police mounted patrols and assaulted one of the horses there, and those are very serious charges too. Overall, everybody was hard-pressed to get everything done, but again, the police response to me and the ability to move about so quickly was really amazing, especially when the floor collapsed in that building.
Yeah, it was quite an eventful weekend. I was at roll call this morning, and our station commander, Lieutenant Quinn, made a comment of how proud he is of all of our personnel. Just getting through the events of the weekend, working together, coordinating a lot of serious incidents. Saturday night kind of seemed like everything happened at once. And so we rely on each other. We rely on other agencies, our fellow police officers here in Indiana County, the Borough Police, Sheriff's Office, IUP Police, certainly Indiana County Emergency Management Agency and 911. It's a team effort all around. So he expressed his appreciation to all of our personnel this morning. I would relay the same message. I've been here in Indiana since 2009, and it's a privilege to work here.
Yeah. The gentleman who fled the car at the Regency Mall that is still at large, the driver of that vehicle, what can folks know about him that might be able to aid you in the investigation? We have a physical description and a rather grainy surveillance image of him.
Yeah, the surveillance image was obtained from Martin's food store. It is somewhat grainy. The facial features are not that distinguishable. It's a pretty good picture of his clothing. Black male, I would estimate to be in his early to mid-20s, perhaps. White T-shirt, torn blue jeans. He's carrying something in his left hand. It looks like it might be a dark-colored jacket. He then gets into a vehicle that is observed in the surveillance video coming through the Martin's parking lot. Very soon after, he flees the scene of the area where the vehicle he was driving became disabled, and he's picked up by this car. It appears to be a Honda Accord sedan. It's dark in color, possibly black. That vehicle proceeds in front of the Martin's food store and then makes a right turn onto North Avenue.
Yeah.
So we don't know where it went from there. That's the best description that we have. We put that out to the public, and with your assistance, thanks for putting that out. Hopefully we'll get some leads.
Yeah. As to the floor collapse and that chaotic scene, you arrive and there's one person already on the road. Another young lady comes up and she's got a cut, a pretty good laceration on her, and just getting it all triaged and getting everybody moved around so that emergency workers can get in. That was a challenge.
It was because we had a large response from PSP, so we had a lot of PSP vehicles there at the scene, and then we had to shuffle our vehicles out of the way for the fire trucks and for the ambulance crews to get in. We were dispatched to a disturbance with a report of a woman on the ground not moving. We were not dispatched to a floor collapse. So when the first trooper arrived on scene, he's met by a young girl with this laceration. He advises her to put pressure on it, and then in the course of other people coming up to him, and it's a frantic situation, he learns that the floor had collapsed inside the apartment building. As the troopers were responding, I was one of those who responded. We were assisting the occupants of that apartment with getting out through a broken first floor window. Some of them had already evacuated, but we did assist with helping a few people to get out, as I understand. And then Indiana Fire Association members, upon their response, they searched the building and thankfully did not find anyone entrapped inside. We were really concerned that there may have been someone trapped in there.
Yeah. Okay. So all of those, and again, the information as it's developed, we'll get out to the public, and whatever we can be happy to help. Now, as to the actual reason that you have come to visit us today, it is the beginning of the road construction season. There are a number of projects that PennDOT has already announced, so we're seeing the traffic cones out, and we're seeing the folks with the signs flipping those, and it is a real reminder to us that as the seasons change, so do the drivers' priorities. We need to be really watchful for those work zones.
Yep. I appreciate the change of topic back to traffic safety.
Yeah.
Switching gears here. So, yeah, as a driver, you're expected to be responsible for your actions while you're driving your vehicle. And in this springtime season, as occurs every year, we have more construction. So I have a list of tips for drivers here as they're driving through a work zone. First is obey the posted speed limit. Stay alert, pay close attention to signs and flaggers. They've got a dangerous job. They're out there on the roadside. Usually they're wearing their high visibility clothing, but it's still a dangerous job. There's a lot of distractions for drivers today. They've got to have their head on a swivel. So even someone there holding a stop sign or a flag puts themselves in harm's way every day that they go out and do their job. You should be turning on your headlights if the signs instruct you to do so. I would suggest turning your headlights on all the time. I would suggest driving with your headlights on during the daylight hours every day, and especially in work zones. But in some cases, the work zone actually does require that the headlights be activated, and that is a violation if you don't have them on. Mm-hmm. Maintain a safe distance, especially a safe following distance behind the vehicle that you're following. Don't tailgate, obviously. If you have to come to a slow stop or you're traveling at a very slow speed, think about putting your four-way flashers on to alert drivers behind you who may be distracted. That's part of defensive driving, is being aware of what other drivers may or may not be doing or paying attention to. Mm-hmm. So the simple act of turning on your four-way flashers may prevent a rear-end collision. Give your full attention to the road. Of course, always wear your seatbelt. I meet with a lot of schools. I was talking to a trooper this morning. We're going to be going down to a preschool to talk with young children at a preschool coming up here in April. We always stress to children, you got to wear your seatbelt. That's so important. Yeah. Be patient and definitely expect the unexpected. Going back to the events of this past weekend, we're prepared for the unexpected. We're preparing for anything that could go on out of the ordinary, and as a driver, you need to be prepared as well for the unexpected out on the road.
When you say that, it occurs to me that when we encounter a construction zone, the people who are working on the roadway itself are involved in doing their jobs, and sometimes they might even lose track of where they happen to be in relation to the safe lane, the travel lane, where traffic is coming up. So when we get to those, I think our natural inclination is to slow down when we get to the actual work area. Mm-hmm. But we really need to keep our eyes on those folks, because if they are distracted, and we are as well, then that could be a disaster.
Right. They may be operating heavy machinery. They may have a headset on, communicating with their colleagues out there at the work site. So, yeah, they have distractions as well. So be mindful of their safety. If your listeners didn't know this, tragically, PennDOT has had 90 of their employees killed in the line of duty since 1970. 90 PennDOT employees killed since 1970. So I put that information out there on a recent press release to stress that they have a dangerous job to do. We're thankful for the work that they do. If you'd like more information, check out the PennDOT website. And for travel safety information as you're making a trip, we encourage you to visit 511pa.com for up-to-date travel information.
Absolutely. And we should also be a little bit more respectful toward those people holding those flags. Sometimes they bear the brunt of an angry motorist who is sitting there.
Yeah, they do. They certainly do.
And they have to put up with a lot. And there's nothing they can do. I mean, they're doing the job to keep their coworkers safe and everybody safe through the entire area. Yeah. As to summertime safety on the roadways as it is, as a whole, even when you're away from a construction zone, I'm sure we'll get the call soon, and we'll have the motorcycle folks coming in.
Oh, yeah.
And it's time to watch out for them, too, isn't it?
It certainly is. Springtime. Well, in fact, I've seen a lot of motorcycles on the road lately. I ride a motorcycle myself. Be watching for those cyclists. Keep your head on a swivel, because they are, they can appear from what it might seem out of nowhere. Well, that may just be because you're not used to seeing them. Mm-hmm. So try and put yourself in their boots, so to speak, and think about what they may encounter in their travels as a motorcycle rider. Riding a motorcycle forces you to really be more observant of the little things that you're seeing along the roadways, the sights, the smells, the sounds, gravel on the road, potholes. So they may be swerving to avoid something that you don't even see from your vehicle, but they can see it plain as day. So little things like that to be mindful of.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a time when more folks will be out on the roads going about their business and their pleasures, and so we need to be extra careful behind the wheel of our vehicles as well. Trooper Clifford Greenfield, thank you so much for coming to visit with us today.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
And good luck with the rest of this compilation of the activities from over the weekend. Again, people have information about any of the incidents that are being investigated. They can give you a call at 357-1960, correct?
Correct. Yep. 24 hours a day. Please call with tips. Help us solve crime. Help us keep our community safe.
It's a good idea. All right. It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160.